Hello friends, we already learned about the pattern paradox in our last session, that is part 1, and today I am going to draw one or two tiles using the pattern paradox, right? And let us start straight away. And in front of me is a regular square tile, and I am going to add a border with my pen, right, to the four sides like this, and then another border like this, right? So I have drawn here a double line border, and then I'm going to draw a small orb inside, probably use my pencil and draw an orb inside like this and use the Wells grid, right? So I'm going to retrace a part of the orb and go to the corner, again retrace the orb and go to the corner, again retrace the orb, go to the corner, retrace a part of the orb and go to the corner. So this is the classic Wells grid, after which we start drawing the pattern Wells. But today I am going to be using this grid to draw the pattern paradox, right? So I'm going to start the same way, trying to keep the lines close to each other, right? So started from one, retraced a part of the line and then deviated to create a gap, right? And I'll be constantly rotating my tile, right? So I'll try and keep it close. The sections are big, so you'll have to move your tile, take breaks in between so that your lines are uniform, right? Again retracing, then creating a small gap, again retracing, then deviating. So you can see one of the sections, one of the lines, one of the sides is a curved line, but it's okay, we can still manage to draw paradox inside. Need not be perfect squares or triangles. We did see how we drew paradox inside a circle also in part 1, right? So go slow, take your time, keep rotating your tile. Just try and keep the lines equidistant, but it's okay if they are not, it looks good anyways, right? So I'm continuing to rotate my tile so that my hand doesn't move from its comfort position, and I am following the same steps as is done in a usual paradox, taking off from the bottom and then creating a small gap, right? So you can see how beautiful simple line work can be. I'm just adding lines, right? So just the manner in which I am adding them makes it look so beautiful, right? So that's one section. I'm going to be doing all the sections in the same manner. Again, start from here, starting from the curved line every time, right? The main line, and then again. So I'm going to draw one more, again repeating and then deviating a little, again retracing a part and then deviating a little, retracing a part, and then deviating, right. So in the last session we discussed how you can put paradox into different kind of shapes, and it itself has the capability to create different meta patterns just by changing the way, clockwise or anti-clockwise movements, or probably the side from which you are starting will change the look and the direction of the fan that is created in a paradox. And as the direction keeps changing, you form different meta patterns, right? Doing the same exercise, rotating the tile, adding lines. Just take your time, be patient. Just try that the lines are equidistant. It's okay even if they are not. Right? So I'm going to do this same thing in the other two sections also. So you can see here I'm on the last section, doing the same exercise, continuously rotating my tile, adding paradox inside each of the section created by the wells grid, right? So I am drawing all in a certain fashion, in a certain direction, starting from a certain side. If you vary the side from which you are starting, again the look of the paradox within the same string, the well string, will also vary, right? So I have followed a certain sequence which gives me this result. So now let's have some fun. Add one more thin line inside the border. Right, and same exercise below, adding one more line to the border. A thin aura, right? Then I am going to draw some printums in this fashion. The pattern is also called snails, but it is basically printums which arranged in this fashion is also called the pattern snails, right? Snail, because it looks like one. I'm going to give this border throughout, right? So I have given a printum's border. I am in the process of filling up the small little spaces that were left in between, right? So I'm done with the border, right? So now let us have a little fun. So what I'm going to do is add some bronze chairs in the center where we started from and drew that orb, right? So I'm just adding some bronze chairs, that is adding an orb, filling it in with a small gap, right? And then I'm going to use my 08 and draw some thick but small lines like we have in a squid. right? We have already learned the pattern squid, so I am drawing the pattern squid here with the help of my 08, right? So drawing some random tentacles or leaf like shapes with my 08 over my paradox. I'm not going to add too many. I think this is enough. Right? One more here probably. Right? So now I'm going to use my jelly roll, right? And I think this one is not working, so I'm going to take out my jelly roll and add a thin line inside all those tentacles that I drew, right? A thin line inside, very carefully, gentle hand, right? Not much space inside, so wherever I can draw a thin line, I'm drawing it, right, with my jelly roll. So I think we've done that inside all. Wherever we could, right? Just a highlight on the bronze chairs with the jelly roll. Since I have already picked it up, it's in my hand. And then I'll shade first and then probably add some chalk inside my squid, right? So I'm going to add shading at the places from where the lines are emanating and at these intersections, right? So adding graphite at points where lines are merging, points from where lines are emanating, wherever there are intersections, crossings, overlaps, right? So let us first shade all these points and then we'll rework on our squid. And as far as the border is concerned, we'll add some graphite on both sides, a thin line so that I don't make the entire thing gray. A thin line, right? I'm now going to start smudging. Missed a small inking here. Yeah. So I'm going to start smudging now, and the light hand just blur my pencil Again, places where lines are merging, from where lines are emerging. Right. Just blending the graphite that I put at various places. Make sure you don't turn the entire thing gray. So blend it in such a fashion that the whites are visible. Right. Right, and then blend the border. Just smudging the chalk with a light hand, not spreading it much. Now the below. Generally borders are shaded in this fashion only. You darken the edges and you highlight the center. So you can use this technique in almost all the borders, wherever tangles have been used as borders. Right. So now I am going to add some graphite on the outside of my squid. Right, like this. Take your time adding some dark graphite on these leaf-like or tentacles, whatever you may like to call it. Right. So you can see how you can have fun with paradox in background also and draw something over it. Right. So I have done that. I'm going to blend it with a very light hand. Just blur the pencil, not spreading too much. Right. So small little places that may be left, you can use whatever is there on your tortillon or stump very comfortably. There is no need to add more. Just blurring the lines. Right. And then with my white charcoal, I am going to first highlight my border, add a line in between. I am pushing my pencil really hard so that the white line is visible. Right. just like a highlight, right? And then the small little things, the lines which are still probably visible inside my squid, you can lighten it a little more using your white charcoal, right? You may either leave it here or you can add a little white charcoal to highlight your squid. Right, so I'm pressing hard and using my charcoal to blur the little bit of lines that are visible inside my squid. Right, so this is the finished tile. This is how it looks. So paradox in the background and a small squid in the center, transcended over my paradox, a simple snail's border, right? So I'm now going to initial my tile. Sign and date it. Today is 9th. And I'll see you again with part 3 of paradox, where we will try and draw 1 or 2 more tiles, right? Till then, stay safe, have a good time, bye bye.